A whisper from the forgotten woods of Distillewick Heath. A chill that wasn't merely the storm, but something far older, far colder. Elias Thorne, a solitary figure against the encroaching night, huddled in his decrepit cabin. Rain lashed against the warped panes of glass, a relentless percussion accompanying the mournful howl of the wind through the skeletal trees. His only companion, an antique valve radio, glowed faintly in the gloom, its warm hum a fragile tether to a world he felt increasingly estranged from. The late night news droned on, a mundane symphony against the raw elemental fury outside. Then, without warning, the broadcast fractured. A shriek of static, violent and raw, tore through the air, silencing the gentle voice of the announcer. Elias' fingers, gnarled from years of solitude and toil, hovered over the dial, poised to retune. But then, a new voice cut through the hiss of voice cold, synthesized, devoid of all human warmth. This is an emergency broadcast system activation. Priority alert. For Sector Gamma. Repeat, Sector Gamma. Civilian advisory pertaining to extraterrestrial biological entity. Type Kappa. Threat level, cataclysmic. Elias froze, his breath catching in his throat. This wasn't a drill. The voice, though artificial, carried an unsettling gravitas. The entity is identified as a class, a sentient predator. Physical manifestation exceedingly tall, gaunt, a silhouette against the void, with limbs that articulate with unnatural grace. Eyes, when observed, appear as smoldering embers. Avoid direct ocular contact at all costs. The instructions followed, stark and terrifying. All external apertures, doors, windows, vents must be sealed immediately with any available material. All light sources must be extinguished. Seek concealment in the deepest, most secure part of your dwelling. Under no circumstances are you to respond to any external stimuli. Ignore all vocalizations. Do not engage. The wind outside seemed to intensify, mocking the stark warnings. Elias, numb with a dawning dread, listened as the broadcast continued, the synthesized voice beginning to fray, a subtle tremor entering its pristine cadence. It spoke of the entity's methodology, its seeks entry. It will replicate familiar voices. It will plead. It will threaten. It will use the voices of your loved ones. Do not yield. Your very soul depends upon it. A faint, insistent scratching began at the wooden window frame beside him, a sound impossibly delicate against the storm's roar, yet perfectly audible. Elias' blood ran cold. The broadcast had only just described such sounds. The entity's presence is currently manifesting through percussive and vocal mimicry. Resist the urge to investigate. Remain silent. Remain hidden. Do not believe what you hear. It is not real. The announcer's voice was no longer fully synthetic. A ragged breath. A shuddering gasp. It knows your name. It knows your fears. Then a voice from the night, distinct and clear, cut through the din of the storm. Elias, are you in there? It's Arthur. The storm. I'm soaked to the bone. Let me in, please. Arthur, Elias' only friend, who had promised to visit days ago, but had never arrived. The voice was perfect. Arthur's slight stammer, the familiar cadence, the desperate plea. But Elias remembered the broadcast. He remembered Arthur's distinctive, almost imperceptible lilt, the way he pronounced certain words. This voice lacked it. It was too perfect, a spectral echo. He pressed his palms to his ears, shaking his head. No, he whispered, a right sound. It's not him. The voice outside grew more frantic, tinged with the terror that clouded Elias' resolve. Elias, please, I hear something out here. Oh God, Elias, open the door. is coming for me." The voice on the radio, meanwhile, had devolved into a raw, human sob. "They're here," the announcer choked out, no longer trying to hide the terror. "Oh God, they're inside. They know everything is looking at me, right into me." A wet gurgling sound, a sickening thud, and an abrupt, horrifying silence. The dial light on Elias' radio flickered once, then died, plunging the cabin into absolute darkness save for the faint, intermittent lightning flashes that painted the room in stark, fleeting shadows. Outside, the police turned into guttural growls, a mocking, distorted parody of Arthur's voice. The scratching at the window intensified, becoming a frantic clawing. The old cabin groaned, its ancient timbers protesting. A heavy, rhythmic thud began against the sturdy oak door, slow and deliberate at first, then escalating into a bone-jarring assault. The air inside the cabin grew unnaturally cold, heavy with an unseen presence. Elias could feel it pressing against the thin walls, a vast, malevolent hunger. He huddled deeper into the corner, his breath shallow, heart hammering against his ribs like a trapped bird. Every creak of the floorboards, every whisper of the wind, felt like a premonition. He was alone, utterly alone, with only the memory of a chilling broadcast and the relentless, undeniable sounds of it trying to get in. The knocking continued, a relentless promise of what awaited him beyond the fragile threshold. And in the suffocating darkness, Elias knew, with a certainty that chilled him to his core, that the emergency broadcast hadn't been a warning. It had been a final, desperate, real-time chronicle of what was already unfolding, and what was now irrevocably at his door.